The story of Melusina came to me while I was researching The White Queen, because this is the story of the founder of the house of Elizabeth Woodville's mother, Jacquetta, Duchess of Bedford. It's a traditional story, it's a mythic story, it's a story which in legend occurs almost everywhere in the world, this notion of a woman who is partly human and partly fish and who tries to become immortal. Also, in this particular case, she is the founding mother of Jacquetta's house. Once I wrote The White Queen and started to discover the character of Elizabeth Woodville's mother, Jacquetta, I knew I'd have to write a novel about her. She's an absolutely extraordinary woman, and she's one of these extraordinary women who have been completely neglected by the historical record. Why she's been so neglected, I think, is because she isn't a woman who makes any profound change to history. She doesn't run a rebellion, but she is present at some of these key historical events, and she's in on the secrets again and again. So when Henry VI falls asleep and stays asleep for 18 months, and Margaret of Anjou has to run the kingdom without him, Margaret keeps that secret for about 3 months, and Jacquetta would have known that secret. When Margaret conceives a child after 7 years of barren marriage, and I think a lot of people would have been suspicious as to whether that child was legitimately conceived or not by her and the king, Jacquetta would have known the answer to that. And then, of course, when Elizabeth Woodville marries Edward and comes to the throne of England, Jacquetta is then the First Lady of England after the Queen, and supports her daughter in good times and bad. When Elizabeth is enjoying the power and the glamour of being the Queen of England, Jacquetta is at her side. But when Edward has to flee in terror of his life and ends up abroad, Elizabeth goes into sanctuary, her mother goes into sanctuary with her. Jacquetta is there too, and present at the birth of her grandson, who's going to become the missing prince in the Tower. So she's absolutely central to the story of the York ruling house in the years before the Tudors come to England. And indeed, without her, I really doubt that they would have managed as well as they did. The period that I'm writing about, it's just immediately prior to a huge rise of a European witch hunt, which will probably have an effect on every village in Europe, as one village after another becomes hysterically anxious. Jacquetta has, I think, 2 accusations of witchcraft formally made against her in her life. She sees another royal duchess, Eleanor Cobham, actually accused, tried and found guilty of witchcraft and banished. There's a lot of witchcraft in the world that the people of the time believe is effective and dangerous, and the novels reflect this. They also reflect it because I think it's a very interesting way that women express their power in this period. That women have no political power whatsoever, but when they lock themselves into this other world, if they use their intuition, if they use their herbal skills or their healing skills, they have access to a power which nobody can control, nobody understands. So for women's history, I think witchcraft and spirituality are very, very important qualities.